All right, get this. What if I told you we could coat an entire building, I mean a whole building, with something thinner than a strand of hair and it would be like practically waterproof?
It kind of sounds like we're talking about some futuristic sci-fi stuff, huh? But it's actually real-life nanotechnology we're talking about, and it's already being used out there to restore and protect buildings.
Okay, so we're talking teeny tiny tech, but with a huge impact. Before we go any further, though, can we back up for a sec?
Hmm.
What exactly IA is nanotechnology?
Sure.
We're going deep on this deep dive, but I need you to bring me along for the ride.
Think of it this way. Imagine shrinking down, way down, to the size of an atom and like rearranging the building blocks of matter.
Okay.
Almost like putting together a puzzle but on a microscopic level. That's essentially nanotechnology, manipulating materials at their most basic, most fundamental level.
Whoa, okay, so this isn't just about a new kind of paint or something. We're talking like engineering materials, but with superpowers,
Right,
right?
exactly. Rearranging those atomic building blocks, it allows us to give materials entirely new properties, making them tougher, more durable, and even giving them like abilities they just didn't have before, like
Oh,
repelling water or resisting scratches.
you have me at superpowers, I'll be honest. So how does all this actually work when we're talking about restoring buildings? What's an example of that?
Well, one of the most exciting areas is hydrophobic coatings.
Okay.
Imagine you could spray this coating on a building,
Right.
and it creates this sort of invisible shield that water just cannot get through.
Hold on, my brain's trying to picture this. So it's not just a sealant, right? You're saying these nano coatings basically create an invisible force field, like against water.
Yeah, you could call it that. It's really about messing with, manipulating the surface tension.
Surface tension.
Yeah, these coatings have a microscopic texture that water molecules basically just can't latch onto. It's almost like if you imagine trying to, like, walk on a bed of nails.
Okay.
Those water molecules are just clinging to each other. They bead up and roll off the surface.
So no absorption, no water damage. It's just like magic.
Mhm.
But instead of spells, it's science.
Yeah, exactly. And that same principle, we can apply it to other nanocoatings as well. Like ones designed to prevent mold, they create a surface that's, well, mold spores just can't latch on and grow. We're basically starring them out.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. What about those self-cleaning surfaces I've heard about, though? Are we talking like microscopic robots scrubbing away at dirt?
Well, that'd be really cool, but it's actually just as interesting.
Okay.
Some of these coatings use sunlight to actually break down dirt and grime. It's a process called photocatalysis.
Wait, hold on. You're going to have to break that down for me. How does sunlight clean anything?
So think about how some plastics, how they get brittle, how they change colors after they've been in the sun for too long.
Right?
That's because the sunlight, it breaks down the chemical bonds in the plastic. These self-cleaning coatings use a similar principle, but instead of like degrading the material, the coating uses the sun's energy to actually break down the dirt and grime on its surface.
So it's like the coating is saying, sunlight, you're not going to age me. You're just giving me a free cleaning.
Huh, that's one way to put it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then there are other types of self-cleaning coatings that just rely on being super smooth.
Go ahead.
Think about it like this. A rough surface has all those little nooks and crannies, right?
Yeah.
Gives dirt and water, all these places to cling to. But if you have a nano-engineered smooth surface,
Yeah.
it's like a penguin on ice, the dirt just slides right off.
So whether it's changing the surface or texture or using the power of the sun, we're talking about some next level tech here. It seems like we're just starting to understand what nanotechnology can do.
Yeah, we're really just getting started. What's even more exciting is that scientists are starting to combine these different properties. Imagine a coating that's, both water repellent and antimicrobial. We're talking about a 1-2 punch against damage and decay.
All right, so we've gone from invisible force fields to double-duty coatings. You're blowing my mind with all of this. How is any of this actually used in the real world, though? Are we just talking about futuristic buildings that cost $1 bazillion?
Not at all. Nanotechnology is being used in restoration projects already, all over the world,
Wow.
often in ways that you might not even realize. And I think the best part is that it's not just about making buildings look sleek and futuristic. It's about making them last longer, making them tougher, and even saving money over time.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. Cost-effective AD cutting edge.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Tell me more. So all this sounds, it all sounds really amazing in theory, but are we actually seeing this like nanotech magic in action? In the real world?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, good, good.
Remember those hydrophobic coatings we were talking about earlier?
I do, yeah.
Imagine, like we were applying that to buildings that are in a flood zone.
Right.
Studies have shown that just by treating a building's foundation with these nano coatings, we can make their buildings last 30% longer.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying that by using these coatings, we can actually prevent buildings from being completely destroyed in a flood?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And think about what this means beyond just one building.
Right.
We could actually create communities that are able to withstand more, especially in areas that are, at risk of hurricanes or rising sea levels.
Wow.
We could even preserve historical buildings and landmarks.
Okay, you've convinced me.
Yeah.
If we can save a historical landmark with some invisible nano spray,
Yeah.
I'm all for it. But it's not just about big disasters, is it? You were talking about the cost savings earlier.
Right.
What about just everyday regular maintenance?
Well, let's talk about those self-cleaning surfaces again for a second.
Okay.
Studies show that those coatings can cut cleaning time and the cost of cleaning in half.
Wow.
Think about a huge skyscraper, right?
Right.
That's a ton of money in savings on cleaning products, on labor. It's a lot.
So we're not only protecting buildings, but we're also making them cheaper to keep up. That's a win-win for everyone, really. Building owners, cleaning crews, everyone.
Totally. And get this, so those nano treatments, they might cost a little bit more upfront, but, and we are talking about new technology here, but they save up to 40% on long-term maintenance and repair costs.
Okay, you've sold me. Sign me up for the nano future.
Right.
But let's be real for a second. No technology is perfect, right?
Right.
We need to talk about some of the downsides. What about the safety of those nanoparticles, especially for the people that are applying these coatings?
Yeah, that's a great point. Because the nanoparticles are so tiny, they could potentially be inhaled or absorbed through the skin while they're being applied. It's not just a matter of, throwing on a coating and calling it a day. We need to make sure that we're following strict safety protocols. The workers' well-being is essential.
So we're talking masks, gloves, are we talking hazmat suits, the whole 9 yards?
Not quite hazmat suits, but the right safety gear is absolutely necessary. And, of course, we need to keep doing research to learn more about the long-term effects of the nanoparticles. We need to be proactive in understanding and mitigating any risks that might come with this kind of technology.
Right. With great power comes great responsibility, right?
Exactly.
But it sounds like there's, a lot of promising research happening around that.
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting research happening. Scientists are really working hard trying to figure out new ways to make nanoparticles safer, including ones that can break down naturally in the environment. That's one of the main focuses right now, finding ways to get all of the benefits from nanotechnology, but without any of the risks.
That's good to hear. It really seems like the future of nanotechnology in this field, in restoration, it's full of possibilities. But we need to keep thinking about the ethical side of it all, too.
Absolutely. Nanotechnology is a field that's changing so rapidly, and it's really important for all of us to learn about both the amazing things it can do and, the possible drawbacks as well.
Knowledge is power, after all.
Yeah.
So besides making safer nanoparticles, what else is coming up in nanotechnology and restoration? What can we look forward to down the line?
Well, picture this. Buildings that can withstand really extreme weather events. They're not just water resistant, they're even stronger. All thanks to nano-reinforced materials.
So stronger buildings, more durable, more resilient, and it's all thanks to nanotechnology.
Exactly. We're talking buildings that can handle hurricanes and earthquakes and anything else that comes their way. And that's really only the beginning.
Wow.
Researchers are also looking into self-healing materials.
Self-healing materials. Are you messing with me right now? Is this a superhero movie?
It sounds crazy, but it's real. Imagine a material that can repair microscopic cracks before you even see them.
Wow.
Like a superpower. It could change everything about how we maintain and repair buildings. They could last way longer than they do now.
Okay, that's amazing. So from those water-repelling coatings to self-healing structures, it sounds like nanotechnology is completely changing how we think about protecting and preserving buildings.
It definitely is. It's already happening, even if we don't always see it.
That's the thing about nanotechnology. It's working its magic at a level that we can't even see. But the effects, they're impossible to miss. So we've gone from talking about these tiny little atoms to buildings that can basically survive anything. This deep dive has been wild.
It has been pretty amazing, and the best part is this is just the beginning, really.
Right.
There's so much more to come with nanotechnology. Who knows what we'll discover?
Exactly. Okay, but let's come back to reality here for a minute. We've talked about invisible shields and superpowers and all that, but what does it all mean for, the people listening?
That's a good question. I mean, whether you're a homeowner trying to protect your house or a business owner trying to save some money, or
Mhm.
even if you're just someone who's, interested in science and architecture, nanotechnology is something you should definitely keep an eye on.
So it's not just like fancy skyscrapers and futuristic cities or whatever. This tech could really impact everyone.
Absolutely. Imagine buildings that last longer, that basically take care of themselves, and that can handle whatever climate change throws at them. That's the potential here.
Okay, you've convinced me. I'm on board with nanotech.
Yeah.
But we do have to remember that even though it has all this amazing potential, we still have to be careful with it.
All right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like we've been saying this whole time. With great power comes great responsibility. As nanotechnology keeps developing, we need to stay informed,
Right.
about the good and the bad. We have to ask the tough questions. We need to make sure the research is transparent, and we got to make sure it's all being used ethically.
So it's not just about what it can do, but how we use it. It's about making smart choices.
Yeah. Exactly. Nanotechnology can change the world, but we need to make sure it's a change for the better for everyone.
Well said. So as we wrap up our little nanotech adventure here, what's the one thing you want listeners to take away from all of this?
I think the most important thing to remember is that nanotechnology isn't science fiction anymore. It's real, it's happening now, and it's already shaping our world. So be curious, learn as much as you can, and hey, you never know, maybe you'll be the one to come up with the next big nanotech breakthrough.
Now that's a challenge I can get behind. And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of nanotechnology and restoration. We've learned about the science, the impact, and what the future might hold. Knowledge is power, after all, so the more you know, the better prepared you'll be for what's coming. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never stop learning.